By the way, who needs friends? A very good question. A very, let's say, volatile kind of concept, right? Explosive. So who needs friends? Well, again, you need to know what you need. And we closed the last segment with something about, well, you got to be your own friend. No, you don't need to be your own anything in a sense. You need to be your own master, and by that I mean, solution finder, solution giver. See, right? You need to be your own integrated okayness. You need to be your own okayness. See? Sometimes you need associates to get there, or friends, if you want to call them that, relatives, relations, to reinforce something in you that reminds you. See, so when we're talking about that, then we're talking about somebody is bringing solutions to you. See, helping you to recognize and, let's say, remember your own potential. See? Yeah. So who needs friends that are going to bring you down and keep you down? I think that's really the question. Who needs friends who are not friends, really, in the spirit of what we're talking about? Who are not servants, just self-indulgent. Animals. See? And I think that's a good place to start. So this is very inclusive. All the brutes I knew, animals, beasts, whatever, humans, yeah, they're all part of the path because they help you move on. See? A marriage that goes sour helps you to move on. See? A relative that passes over helps you to move on. See? And then put your attention somewhere else on some other peeps, which is part of your expansion, your growth, and your experience overall. See? So we need to go through many relationships in order to find a certain kind of fulfillment or fullness. See? So who needs friends? Right? Right. What kind of friends? Who needs friends?
And sometimes it seems that the worst enemies turn out to be the best friends and vice versa. So
can be. So we have to be open to that. See? Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. The worst companions are sometimes the best for certain things. See? So adversaries are useful. See, this is like also part of the knowledge, the wisdom of warfare. You got to know your enemy. See, you have to know your enemy. Who needs friends, right?
So then is friend really a word in terms of appearances that doesn't necessarily indicate the truth of...
Well, it depends on what you mean by friendly then. See, you see, we're using a relative term that has a certain kind of, let's say, quantification. It has its own value. See? It's a quantity, like a set number of things. See? What is a friend? A person you like. For some people, it could be a person they don't like. See? But it has to be a certain type of person they don't like. That for them they determine is what they need in order to bring something out of them they do like. Whatever that is. See? And we can't say it's good or bad particularly because the universe won't have it that way. The universe is absolute infinite variety and complexity. The human is a set quantity and quality of, let's say, information that it likes more or less to find its comfort zone in. And find some peace or harmony, these words, contentment with limitation, which is not bad until you set a fire and you need more.
So it seems that we have to stay more open, less defining, and less structuring of things, just to keep the flow going.
Yeah, then you get to a point where then everyone is your friend. So you don't have friends. Friends are just everybody. So you don't have friends. See, the box. It's just beings, and you relate to all beings. See, openly. And they're friends until they're not friends. And I think that's the same way. So who needs friends? Who needs them? After a while, who needs them? See, but relating to people impersonally, heart to heart, I think that's a good practice. That's how I work with people. See, with all due respect to deep relationships based upon time and experience, respectful of those, but who needs grief? So if I have to switch and flip on experience and let's say a time kind of a friendship or relative to time, of course, then it's done, it's gone. It's already done, it's already gone. That's the only way to make room for what else there is. Be able to be beyond what it is, your own agreements, see, your own, let's say, comfort zones, your own friends, your idea of friends. See, and be open to what it really is a situation or the condition before, and that's life. And then relate to everything as it is. That's maybe a bigger picture with better results for some peeps. And of course you have the comfort zone friends, your associates you can hang with, you know, who you're so agreeable with or agreeable to, where you have less conflict because there's a lot of likability. But then who needs likability beyond the point? See? There's not much edge in likability beyond the point. Okay.
So is the idea more of being friends rather than having friends?
Well, being friendly, being open, then get away from friendly, because you want to give yourself room to act the way you feel you need to act. And it may not be friendly all the time. See? And I'm not putting a judgment on that. Because you got to get the anger out of you somewhere, somehow. You have to be, let's say, purged of your own anger before you can really be heart open to other peeps in a certain way. See? You can be conditionally heart open to peeps who are open to you. That's not the real deal, you know. You have to be heart open, period. That's the real deal. And then pull back if you need to pull back or avoid based upon a lack of reciprocation, a lack of resonance. But it's better to be open. That's how you're informed by the universe. You have to be open to it. If you're closed and so afraid of it, you're not going to get much data. You're going to be depending in another way on other peeps for data, because you've cut yourself off from knowing because you're so closed-minded and so doubtful of knowing anything. You're so skeptical about reality. And self-limiting, of course. And you have a right to that. Enjoy your skeptical, or your skepticality. It's yours for your munching on. But then taste it for what it is and see if that's really opening you up and giving you a certain kind of experience. See, that's really fulfilling in a manner of speaking. Openness.
And so openness exposes us to hardship.
You find everything out. By being open, you listen, psychic peeps that I've known and I was raised with are open. See, that doesn't mean open to any kind of garbage that comes through. No, they're open enough to know what the garbage is. So they know what to do with it, to avoid it. They're open enough to smell it. Way in advance. They want to smell it early. So you have to be open to that. You can't get into this kind of like syndrome of, well, I don't want to believe anything. Well, you better know. Forget about believe. That's extravagant. You better know before it's too late. Oh, I just want to believe. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's all believe. It's casual. It's kind of detached. Oh, you better know for sure. See? You need to know with precision.
As you told me 14 or 15 years ago, that it's good to have this openness, but you've got to apply intelligence about what you're open.
You have to know when to close. So openness is good. Like your door, your car door. You don't want to leave it open. You don't want to leave your front door open. You got to be intelligent enough to know you're open to closing it, as you're open to opening it. See, so we're talking about intelligence. Then. Openness is intelligence, so that through openness you know what to do, when you need to do it, in the way that it's most advantageous to you. See, so you're in the Tao, you're in the flow of things. See, so it's not like a spiritual idea. No, this is physics and psychophysics. It's both making things work. I think that's what we want to do. Is create ability. It's creatability. That's what it is. It's not a religious hocus pocus. It's creatability that's open to everything, seen and unseen and known and unknown, knowable and unknowable. So it's openness in general. Yeah. That means waiting for things to be self-revealed. That's a different approach to all of this, Self-revealing. Let it be self-revealed. Like in time, when you're ready. But the idea is to be open. If you're closed and you say, well, when I'm ready, you're never going to be ready. Unless the way it's supposed to happen to you is through shock. Then you don't want it to happen, but because it's time for it to happen, bam! Say, hey, I didn't pray for that. You didn't have to. At some point you're open to it for your instruction. And there you have it. Right? A prior agreement. comes and whacks you in the butt. See? It's not going to happen if it wasn't agreed upon. That's a mystery in itself.
So closing to one thing is opening to another, essentially. And
maybe, maybe not. See? It depends on who you're talking to. So being open to life is being open to everything. And being open to closing what needs to be closed. So certain accounts need to be open, certain accounts need to be closed because you're open to closing them. So you need to be open, that means informed enough to know what accounts you need to close for your healing, for your information, for your revelation, see, for your expansion of awareness, see, for your enlightenment, as I like to call it, ensoundment, see, for your proper hearing, your sacred hearing, ensoundment.
so could we say who needs friends who keep us from opening?
You can say that. Who needs a marriage? That is like a closed coffin. Come on, you don't know that you're in a closed coffin? What do you need? You mean we need to open it up for you? So you can see you're in it to begin with, because you don't know you're in it? Well, then maybe it will happen that way. But if you're in a closed coffin relationship, whether it's with a relative or with friends or your mate, see it for what it is, smell it for what it is, and make a change if you can. See? Life awaits you. Life is a great adventure. It's open. It really is. It's wide open. You just need to have the courage to pull the curtains open and open the windows and let the life in. See? Let that breeze in. Even though these days there's not much fresh air, but you can let the breeze in whatever condition it comes in. See? So you know your sense of space. And that's what we need, space. Yeah. Growth is really dependent upon space. See, inner space feeds the consciousness. Yeah? Creativity. Inner breathing is what fuels the higher creative chakras or centers. And we need to be open to that. It's a theory, yeah, for most people it's a theory. But here it's a practice. Coming.
And what role does intention play?
Intention is a link. See, a lot of people say, well, you're just believing and you're praying for no reason at all. Well, I mean, a fool says that. That's like you're thinking. Like your thinking is like going to produce nothing. Why think? It's not going to produce anything, it's just thinking. Well, tell that to Einstein. No, he's not here, so you can't tell to Einstein. You got to talk to one of the other giants out here. Stephen Hawking, or Deepak Chopra, the big brains. It is thinking, but it's not thinking at the same time. It's thinking in the mode of opening consciousness, by recognizing inspiration, say, higher intelligence. But these are words that maybe fall short of what it is, like the super brain consciousness, book by Deepak. I haven't read it, but just the idea, super brain. Yeah, we have super brains. We all do have super brains. Super brain is not like a 20-foot in circumference brain on an ordinary person. No, it's not. That's not a super brain, not a big one. It's a well-used, it's an understood brain. See? We need to bring brain power, see, into our life. See? And techniques are necessary for that. And, of course, you have these people, anti-guru idiots, right? And you may as well be an anti-doctor and an anti-authority idiot, because you need people who have more mileage on their meters, who have gone up there and come back, so to speak, that are freely going to give you what you need to know to access it, like a Sherpa. Right? Who's been up the mountain many times, who's a regular person, who knows, has the knowledge like a native person's going to take you up there, because you're not going to get up there on your own. And that's the common native wisdom. You need a guide. And if you're so full of yourself where you say you don't need any guides, you need guidance. You're definitely an unguided missile. Right? We all need guides. We were born to be guided. And then after a while, you know what the guidance is, and you take it from there. So it's not that you're destined to be guided all the time. Many of us are, especially after death. You better hope you have guidance when you pass over. You.